William Lewis, maker of Camp Fema, joins us, along with the producer, Gary Franchi. When they approached me about being in the film, I was very excited, and I consulted on it. I worked with them on making sure the information was accurate, and they've done a great job. It shows how we've turned into a prison economy, how our entire economy is converting over to surveillance, prisons, police state. We have more prisons than any other country in the world. The federal government designates sports stadiums and other facilities as mass holding centers, mass inoculation centers. They go over all of that. They show the gun confiscations in New Orleans. They show the Rex 84, the admitted camp plans, the government documents. They actually go out to some of the camps. And I just got back from spending 3 days in Hardin, Montana, just to show how corrupt society is, where a known convicted felon con artist could just come into town. The tiny town of 3,500 built a 464-bed prison. They wanted to put Abu Ghraib people in there. They wanted to put Camp X-ray people in there. Now they just want to put the citizens, and they call it an economic development plan. Prisons, that's what we have, is putting you in jail. And so this is all around us. And then you dovetail it with all the surveillance and the Big Brother and the Homeland Security plans to scan air travelers' bodily functions. All of this is unfolding, so I wanted to get the makers of Camp Fema on today. And I wanted to remind listeners we have it available at Infowars.com right now. Again, Infowars.com. It is available for everybody out there. We hope that people will go and order it and show it to their friends and family, because this film needs to be seen. Camp Fema available right now. Let's go to Gary Franchi and William Lewis. Guys, good to have you on the show with us.
Hey, man. Glad to be here. Back.
Let's go to Franchi first. Franchi, this is your first, I guess, big not directorial, but producer debut, and I'm glad that the film's a success because it needs to be seen.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it yourself just now about home screenings, and we want people to invite their friends and family over to their house, sit down and analyze the film, take the facts in, and spread this message, to their loved ones, because what's happening in America needs to stop. The demonizing of Constitution-loving Americans in the MIAC report, Homeland Security documents, the growth of this prison industrial complex, like you just went off to Hardin. These are all facts that are covered in the film that, obviously the mainstream media doesn't want to cover. Glenn Beck is just whitewashing the whole thing with popular mechanics. And, these facts need to be exposed, and that's why we put the film together, just to do that.
Well, I'm glad you did it. Let's go to William Lewis. William, in a nutshell, break down what Camp Fema covers.
Okay, Camp Fema, we start back in the 1940s, show people how these internment camps are really nothing new. This has happened before. We show the similarities between those camps that were built back in the 1940s and the HR 645 legislation that we see introduced recently by Alcee Hastings of Florida. And we compare what did they do back then, what do they want in this bill, how similar are they, and, come to find out, they're very similar, in fact. We go through all of the legislation, the documentation, FBI, Senate, COINTELPRO, everything, trying to explain to people that this is really nothing new. This is a pattern we've established. And, we even see some of the same wording and the same phrases come up telling us what they want to do to us, how they want to do it. And now they've got internment camps being, just built right out in the open, contractors being hired to do it, and the National Guard is actually actively hiring for these positions of internment and resettlement specialists. So you put all this together, put some photos with it, and we kind of show people that FEMA camps are no longer this internet-based conspiracy theory, that it is very much based in reality and based in black and white, as we showed in the documentary.
And the denial is over with this film. The rumors in, the documentation is total. We need to have a national debate about how they're setting up fusion centers, putting Brigade Homeland on the streets, taking over our society. Camp Fema does that. And so the denial can end. This country is turning into a giant prison grid. The military-industrial complex is just coming back to America and taking us over and ruling us and making their police state profitable. You have all these private interests that make the profits off what they've set up.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening. Look at the prison inmate labor program.
Absolutely. All right, man, stay there. I want to come back. I want people to be able to call in, too. What about you guys? Got any death threats over Camp FEMA, or how's that going?
Well, no death threats yet. Actually, the reception for Camp FEMA has been quite well. We get tons of emails just on a daily basis that I never have the time to return every single one of them, but we try. Maybe we should go through a list. We've got several things coming up. The Midwest Liberty Fest is coming up this weekend, where people can go out and watch Camp FEMA there. There's a Canadian theatrical premiere coming up in Toronto on October the 17th, and that's going to be pretty big from what I understand. I won't be able to attend, neither will Gary, but you should, if you're in the Toronto area, at least show up and see what's going on.
Sure.
Then we've got, right after that, the next day, there's another screening in Ohio. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah, that's exciting. People are out there spreading and getting involved. That's important. More about the film, though, for people that haven't seen it. I mean, it could be, I, of course, am in the film. Other great people are. But the point is, it really lays out just the facts and exposes what's going on.
Well, you can't talk about FEMA camps without talking about the mindset of our leaders in Washington and how this has been done in history's past. How have past dictatorial, regimes come into power? How did they get the people in Germany to go along with rounding up the Jews? Those are the types of things that we're looking at. We've gone out to people like Chuck Baldwin, who was specifically named in the MIAC report, to tell us how they've done this in the past. And, we know that they want to demonize and marginalize everything that anyone says who might be opposed to gun control or opposed to income tax, abortion, illegal immigration, whatever your single issue is.
The Private Federal Reserve, they demonize those groups.
United Nations, people who use the term the New World Order. That's why we have some representation in here from the Constitution Party, because that's even in, I believe, it's part of their platform. And I was just researching last night on some of these third parties that are out there, and even on Wikipedia they put New World Order in these quotes like it doesn't really exist.
Though I have more than 10 mainstream news articles saying the demise of the dollar, rise of the New World Order. That's what we say. Fall of the Republic, birth of the New World Order, rise of the resistance. I mean, they're announcing world government owned and run by private banks, what we always said it would be. We were reading their own documents, and they still say it doesn't exist. That's a military psych warfare term. That's done. That out of hand. Gary Franchi, speak to that, because I know you've studied it. How they'll deny something even as it's happening to make it about the debate of whether it exists or not. It's like I'm still debating with Hardin, Montana. Is this guy a felon when it's admitted he's a felon con artist? And I'm telling him for a week it's a fake contract. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it's classic Orwellian doublespeak. They say it is when it isn't, and when it is, it's not. It's just playing mind games with the American people. I'm like, you just quoted all these headlines. I've seen the headlines out there in the mainstream news saying that the New World Order is rising up. And then meanwhile they demonize us because we're going to go ahead and fight it, and they marginalize us. But the problem is they're giving us more fuel, more energy to fight. And that's what this film does. That's what you do. We put the message out so we can fight the New World Order, take it down, and restore our republic.
Absolutely. Continuing just with the news we're witnessing, before I get into some other facets of the police state, what did you guys think about the Hardin situation with the mercenaries and taking over the prison facility that they wanted to hold prisoners in? I told local media that when I was inside, we even have footage of this, and Becky Shea saying don't tape that, they had on the wall enemy combatant area, enemy combatant holding, alien holding area, alien detaining holding area is the exact quote.